think it has been
Audible, right?
Yes.
4 hours where we have, I think, been engaged together. We have brainstormed together. We have had good laugh.
Practical exposure rather than the book knowledge what we have, it was a practical experience which will definitely will try to inbuild it and see what best can come out of us.
Very insightful, 2 days, 2 different things to be learned, and I love the punchline CRM today, that skills can be evolved over a period of time, but that attitude cannot come. So I think this workshop actually helped us to develop that and think that we can be a leader.
It was a very good session, and honestly, if I'll tell you, like, I was not like this, something called six hats was there, I mean, existed. Yeah, probably now it was a good act.
To learn something which maybe I have not yet experienced in my workspace or something. So I'll be prepared for it, and this will give me more knowledge on how to work with a team and collaborate and share things and ideas.
And all the six hats were good, but I think we will be juggling around all the six hats and come to a solution. But at least we will learn the juggling. Thanks for the process, and I love it. Thank you.
What I kind of learned mainly today was, a very important thing is risk management. By understanding the risk management, by risk factor, we can already have 4 plans in line. So, one doesn't work, we definitely lay back on to the other. So that was something which was very important that I learned.
So the session was really fun-filled. It was having a lot of interactions amongst the team members. It had covered all the points what we had discussed. So you've covered the entire course. You have delivered it beautifully, and there was a lot of interaction, which was really a must. There was not at all any lecture or something. No, it was a good interactive session, and we really loved it. Thank you very much.
A lot of things from this training. First of all, being a new joinee, I hardly knew anyone here, but now I know almost everyone. Wow. So yes, I am being here. Thank you so much. It was very helpful for me, and I actually came to know a lot about my personality. Okay. So yeah, it is a
strategy. Where should I use the facts? Then from a personality background, it was really helpful knowing ourselves which part of thing is more influential for us, and what is our drawbacks and what is how to interact with other people.
Different scenario for the communication. As I come to here, I understand what is the exact communication, how we have to communicate with the people, so that
you made a different kind of study material to us with your experience. So thanks to that one.
Good evening and welcome all to this KARD hour, which is the knowledge sharing session. Happens on every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., wherein one of the coaches from Leadership KARD will be here. In recent time, we have been doing this as a question and answer session based on our cohorts. They had a lot of questions to ask us, and what is that they have learned and what is that they are going through. That is where we converted this as a question and answer session. And thank you for all those being live here on the Zoom as well as on the YouTube, and also those who watch this at a later time at your convenience as well. If you have any questions, feel free to add those questions into the comments column of the YouTube. We will take it forward in the coming sessions and answer your questions. Leadership KARD is the leadership coaching, mentoring, and training organization, which is the brainchild of the 4 individuals. You see them on the photograph. Kirandeep Sandhu, Ashish Datta, Devesh Mohan, and myself. It works on the principle of knowledge, apply, reflect, and develop. That is the KARD principle. So today we have a Q&A session, the power of selling, sell product and services. When it comes to the selling, sales, all of us have that problem of saying that how do we sell? Is it important? What is that we need to do? That is where today Devesh Mohan, sales coach, is here to answer those questions. Before I develop on and give introduction about Devesh and myself as a host, let's go on a little bit, understand about the KARD team. As I said, this four of us got together and gave birth to the leadership KARD in the year 2021 July. Since then, and we bring in close to about 100 plus years of an experience in the communication, finance, real estate, operations, services, transformation, sales, and alliances area. So we bring in experience from the diverse field of functions, worked in Indian and global organization. So Kiran, she brings an experience in the academic and communication leadership area, brings in 2+ decades of entrepreneurship coaching, John Maxwell certified leadership coach, and also a social entrepreneur, helping more than 2,500 plus students in the Ayodhya remote villages. She says, your voice matters, speak to be heard. In the leadership cards, he focuses on the areas of mindset, personality, development, effective communication, personal branding, and the TEDx coaching. And we have Ashish Datta. He says, learn to lead yourself first, that the rest is easy. He brings in operational and finance leadership experience, a chartered accountant by profession, certified trainer of IITD. He's a COO, CFO of an organization, leadership coach, and the leadership architect. He brings in 3+ decades of finance, people, process, technology across the industries, manufacturing, consulting, and IT. He focuses on self-leadership, part of it, team dynamics, relationship management, conflict management. I will introduce both of us a little later in this thing. And we are problem solvers. We say the problem relating to career and business growth, stagnation, we put our heads together and help you in that area. And you are struggling to achieve professional success. This is something which is even today, it's a problem for achieving that professional success. That is where we help we already helped more than 10,000 plus individual, and we are there to help the people who wanted to work on it. Third one is when you are working with a team, always there is an interpersonal conflict. How do you manage those conflicts is a key important thing. That's an area we focus on it as well. Moving on to today's KARD Q&A session, that is the power of selling. So we have, I'm your host for this session today. I come with the 3.5 decades of corporate experience and 5 years of entrepreneurship experience as a consultant and success coach. I'm a TEDx speaker and author of 2 books. And I focus on business transformation, personal transformation, SWOT analysis, priority management, networking, and customer service. So our today's all the questions which will be answered by Devesh Mohan, our sales coach. He is here. He is the leadership coach, focuses on personal transformation, goal setting, and achievement program. His sales and alliances on that area. He focuses on it, and he is also social entrepreneur along with Kirandeep Sandhu. They run the the GBTC, the NGO in Ayodhya, which I already told, more than 2,500 plus students are benefited till date, and this is increasing year by year. And he is also an author of book Build Your Sales Muscles. And this is a great book. I recommend each one of you to read this book. Either you are in the sales or not in the sale. And we do sales every time for ourselves in the organization. Also, we need to do sell ourselves. This will help you on that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Please continue.
Yes. So what we'll come back to this later. Now we will straight away jump into the session wherein the audience are there and we can answer their questions. So before that, we already got few questions from our cohorts that already they are gone through the courses and other thing. So Devesh, thank you for being here. I will ask you those questions first, and then we will take the audience questions as well.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ram, for giving the introduction of KARD and briefly introducing myself. I'm supercharged in terms of to see what questions are there, and will be happy to respond them. So please.
Yeah. One of the question on the selling part of it, personal selling comes in is during the time of an appraisal, always when we are sitting with our boss in front of them. One question which came up is, how can I enhance my ability to respond confidently during performance reviews when question about always not meeting the goals or non-performance comes in? How do I, as an individual, respond confidently? It's also the selling, right? You need to sell yourself.
Absolutely. No, I fully agree because as we say that by profession, even if you are not a salesperson, then also you have to sell yourself. You have to engage in your daily work scenarios, whether it is personal or professional, to sell your ideas, sell your thoughts, and then selling products and services come much later, right? So, and this question is very apt from that point of view because what happens that many times when you are into that review engagement with your manager or your manager's manager, when things are being told positive, it's all good, it looks pretty good, okay, that's where, because it infuses a lot of positive energy. But many times in those reviews and appraisals, what would happen that there would be certain hard questions which will be thrown on you, and those hard questions could be with respect to your non-performances, what your manager sees, or it could be perception, but that's a way those questions would be put in, while those non-performance are not meeting those goals which you have been assigned to. So I think all of us go through that phase, and probably I think one of the best way, because these appraisals would keep happening on regular basis, maybe quarterly or 6 monthly. It's always good that you should remain prepared in advance for these types of appraisals. So don't see that as a last minute activity. Think through that it is something which is there on a regular basis. So when you have defined your goals, how you have been, keep reviewing those goals on regular basis and see that how you're progressing against that on regularly, and do that self assessment. Because what's going to happen that when you start documenting those things, it becomes much easy to handle such types of meetings with more confidence, right? Because in those scenarios when you are doing your self assessment, you will write some small things also, which probably if you just look at the third month at, or just at when that assessment or appraisal is happening, you might not remember those things. So that's very important. And when you put that whole document for yourself to review, it's not that you have to share everything to your boss, right? Understand that what are those three, four things which you have been able to deliver, which you have progressed over that 3 months or 6 months, and try to relate that how they are actually aligned to the to some of the measurement criteria. From sales, it becomes very easy because it's all against the numbers, right? That how you are performing against the number. But there could be a lot of other measuring criteria which could be there. It could be against your MBOs. It could be something against that how much you have helped to save the cost for the company, for your division, for your particular unit which is there. So all those could be as an aligned measuring parameters which would help for your manager to understand that yes, you have really contributed to the success of the organization, or have achieved your goals, or making sizable progress to meet your goals, right? So those, I think, are two things which are very important, that prepare in advance and then align it to your certain measurement criteria which is there. Third thing which I believe could be very important, because as individuals you have to always make sure that you are making learning as a continuous process, right? So in that whole process, you need to again personally sell yourself, because you are yourself as a brand. You have to promote your brand, that I am investing X amount of time on monthly basis or on weekly basis to learn certain new skill, which is actually going to help me to deliver in a better fashion in future. And that could be, say for example, I learned a skill of doing mind mapping, right? And that as a skill helps me to really plan my strategy for next 3 months to engage with my customer in a very structured and objective manner, and it helps me to convey my thoughts in that structured manner, which is very easy for my peers and my managers to understand, right? And that's something which I keep telling, that this is one of the new skill which I have learned. Probably next quarter I'm going to learn, say, artificial intelligence or something like that, which basically helps you. So that also becomes, so that they can understand that yes, this guy is really looking that how he can continuously become better, continuously improve himself. And 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 those, I think, are three things which probably would help you. And make sure that while you're discussing these things with your managers, pull those examples, pull those practical benefits which you have been able to deliver to your peers, to your customer, to your internal customers, whosoever is there. Pull those examples that this happened in this particular scenario where you were able to support your customer to deliver that, say, POC within 3 weeks, right? So, like for me, I'm going through engagement where I have to deliver a POC for a customer. But what we are doing, that we are spending a lot of time together to really understand that what is that use case which my customer is looking for, right? And what would be the outcome if I successfully deliver that use case. So that's something, some of those things which we can talk about as examples while we are talking about. So I think these are the three things: prepare in advance, second, align with something through which it can be measured, and third is that talk about how you are personally improving yourself, how you are continuously learning and improving. And
Right.
probably, yeah, probably that will give more confidence to you when you are engaging with your bosses next time.
Thank you. That's an excellent input, what you had given, the 3 points to which you need to go and approach in the personal appraisal. So adding to that, based on my experience, there are some of the bosses told me saying that one is you have to be always marketable, right? How do you make, what are the points which you have told? That is what will help you. Then another thing is also, you see, when you are writing your appraisal or doing something, saying that what is something where is my direct contribution is there that has helped. Some of the thing, no, always as managers and leader, we look as a team contribution is your contribution, no doubt about it. But as a leader, what as a manager, what is that something you actually have really done and that contributed significantly or to an extent? Things have to move up. That was the things, couple of things to add into what you had said and very clearly.
Absolutely. And maybe one more thing which could be there, because these are all continuous process where you get into appraisals. Probably it would also be a good thing to take a feedback from your manager after your appraisal has happened, that where he thinks that you can improve, right? And take those as an action item for you to work upon before you get into the next appraisal cycle, right? And talk about it, that you have spoken specifically about some of these things and have invested this amount of time by learning that particular skill or spending time on that, because then the manager would also feel that there is a good amount of, or there is a lot of value which you give to what your manager is suggesting, and that is a feel good factor for him to feel happy and give you positive reviews about your own your appraisal. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And moving on to the next question from our one of the cohort is, what strategies can I use to increase the effectiveness of my tele sale calls? And today I know a lot of things we happens through calling and people talking to them. And another thing is also nobody shows an interest at the first go. They show a low interest in, given that kind of a scenario, what strategies we need to use to increase the effectiveness of our telecalls.
Absolutely. This is, I think, one of the toughest job on earth in terms of to just pick a phone and call anyone. And probably at that point of time, that gentleman may be doing something which, and out of blue, your call comes, and probably he's into something with his family, with something has happened, he's in hospital or wherever, and in that scenario, you have to really engage with him and take something positive out of it. So this is something which is extremely difficult. It's not easy as a work to do. And what my experience says, that as a telecaller, first of all, we should have that awareness that there would be lot of failures in these types of job which we do. What typically uh, uh, the industry research says, that normally if you make 100 calls during a day, there would be just 10 calls where customer would say that, okay, I'm willing to have more discussions with expert, or we want to have second round of discussions. So that is an industry average. So you need to be aware of that, so that you don't feel that you are really a failure, right? Because you are talking to someone and you are not aware that in what mindset the other person is there. So you have to discount that part so that you don't get demotivated by that. So there would be 50% of such calls where probably you will not even get time where you can really spend time with them to talk about that what is there. So now with the rest of the 50% of the calls, I think it's all about that how you can make it more effective, right? And I think one of the best way probably would be that if you belong to a company where you have something which is where your products cater to different industry segments, right? So if you have a product which focuses on healthcare, if you have a product which focuses on telco or automotive, then think through in terms of to segment your your prospects in those different categories, and and call them as per the industry focus, because then you know that what my pitch would be, because then because for every segment there has to be a different pitch, right? So you need to first prepare those slightly differentiated pitch for those three or four different industry where you are, and and so that you can actually start with something which is very very say interesting for them to listen, which could be how you have been able to deliver benefit to X customer which is of the same industry, and that has helped them to reduce cost by 50% or 30% or whatever that number is, right? So you are immediately saying that there is a problem for the customer and you solve that, giving that benefit. So that's something with which you can pitch it. So and with that you can talk about the value proposition, what those benefits you can deliver. And I think the key is that after giving that 30-second or 40-second of pitch, it's very important that you actually push customer or influence customer to respond to few of your questions, which normally you should put in a very open-ended questions format, not in close-ended, because then the conversation can't move ahead. So try to see how you can make those questions in an open-ended way. So what it becomes important that in between when customer is talking, you need to be a very active listener. So once you are actively listening, he may say certain things or pick those certain points, certain words, which you use in your question when you are probing them. Sorry, and and draft a open-ended question which becomes easy for him to correlate, because there are certain words which you are already using and it's already there in his mind to see that okay, he's picking my thoughts, right? I think that's few of the key things which we may have to do in terms of to see that how we can improve. Definitely it requires a lot of practice. It's not that it can just happen on day one. You have to do certain role plays with your colleagues or your mentors who are there in your team, and that could help. Also, I think it makes a lot of sense for you that before picking up the phone, you can use a lot of social media channels in terms of to keep a passive engagement with those people, so that they don't see you as a completely outsider, right? There is a connect that okay, there is a mail which has come to you. I have sent you this mail. So in some way there is a passive recollection of thought that yes, this is a person with whom he has been following up, or he has been sending some personal message on LinkedIn or some Facebook or email. So that becomes easier. So those channels can be appropriately leveraged in terms of to reduce the chances of your phone call not getting disconnected within 10 seconds of the duration. So I think yeah, some of these
Yeah,
would really
great.
help.
I think it's a toughest job, and you had given some key inputs that would definitely help our the person who asked the question as well as the viewers who are going to look
Right.
at. The problem with the questions are many times it's common. I have a question, it may be the common to all others as well.
Right. Uh,
So one is after all this thing, second comes in is the uh, the customer. You got into a customer and they are only solely talking on the price during the discussion. What techniques we need to use in such cases to handle that customer?
No, I think again this is a again uh, uh, a very common challenge which a salesperson faces whenever uh, he gets into a negotiation, or even before negotiation, even when you are interacting with a person, and probably if he wants to, why he's coming to price is also because either he don't have time, he is not willing to listen to you, or he thinks that probably you are not giving him right kind of information, and that's why he is coming on to the pricing, so that he can conclude the meeting, right? So I think these are the two things which could be there possibly. So one, uh, the assumption is that when you are going, you have already taken a appointment with that person, so that he can give you that 30 minutes of undisputed time. So I think uh, the point one, you have to be definitely prepared for what value you can offer beyond pricing, but and at the same time you need to be confident in terms of that how you can address such issues. So uh, w- I think one of the things which you need to do is first of all acknowledge, right, that I really understand and appreciate that you want to know that what pricing we offer, but before letting you know that what pricing we have, probably we would like you to know about the features of a product and how some of our customers have really benefited out of it, and that has helped to address some of the pain points of these types, right? So you have to, because when you are talking to them, it's always important that you have gone through the profile of the person, right? That what type of person he is, part of which organization, what he does, what his probably the influence circle would be within the organization, and what all things he may be interested as part of that discussion. So some of those elements you need to have, and put those success examples which may really make him interested, that someone from his competition has deployed this particular technology or solution or product, and that has helped them to address the pain point of reducing the cost, and that is something which would become much important for you to pick up that value pointer in terms of to really show that how you can deliver that benefit to the customer, right? And with that, you need to literally probe him in terms of to understand that what are the key things which are really which matters him lot, which could be in terms of maybe he may be under a delivery timeline pressure, like it's a Diwali time, right? And some customer may say that, okay, I need the AC, or maybe something, a geyser at home within before Diwali, right? Something of that sort, and you know that there is just 4 days left. So that becomes a very key element for which he want to buy just before Diwali. So that's a delivery timeline becomes important. The second could be you may want to know about that what are the payment terms which he would be willing to give. Is he giving you advance? If he is willing to take on EMI, and some of those things, you once you know about it, then basically you can also play with that what could be there as a bundling option. As I talked about geyser, like in Delhi, uh, there is such a bad air quality which is going on. You can say, okay, there is some bundle special price where you can have air purifier with geyser or something on those lines, which can help to see or develop lot more value, because of the air quality which is there. There are a lot of customers who are willing to buy purifier to keep the AQI level very low, with at least within the house, right? So some of those things can really help. They can you can look on and talk about that probably on the life cycle of the product, that typically what you are bundling as part of your warranty, right? Because many times when you get a product, what happens that for there could be just a 12 months of warranty, and maybe another competitor or you are giving 5 years of warranty to say compressor of your geyser or something on those lines, which needs to be spelled out more so that they can understand that there could be lot lesser say annual maintenance cost which could come, and based on that, once you create that whole value proposition, then talk about that how your cost would look like, so that he can get the comprehensive view, and then it basically makes a lot of sense for them to take a decision on an overall basis. So I think that's something which we have to again practice it, that how you can really shift the conversation from pricing to value, and that's something which is very important, and maybe in between if required you need to remind that, sir, we have come after taking an appointment where so that we can let you know all the details about our product, and on the basis of that you can take the right decision for you rather than taking immediate decision. So learn from me about what product we are offering, all those things, so that it helps you to take the best decision.
Yeah, I think I rightly said one of the things is someone is calling and he has got some pain point and some problem he has got, he is calling you. First, understand what problem you are going to solve and how your product or services, what you have, is going to help them, and focus on that. I'm sure when you are solving his problem and what is the pain point, interest will always come in. There are many times we also have purchased something which is solving our problem at a higher cost. It happens. Cost is one of the parameter. What you said is absolutely right. So now the next question comes in up is saying that yes, we know the same product or services I have. The competitor, I wanted to capture this client, but I see this, he is using a competitor product. Right.
Yeah.
So in that case, what steps I should take to improve my success opening the doors? I know he has got a requirement of a similar product of mine or services of mine, but he is using a competitor product.
Yeah. So I was just, while you asked that question, I just went back into memories in terms of that. What happens that as a sellers, we are given some like within selling there is hunters and farmers. So typically hunters are also given some target account which are like must have accounts to have. So those must have accounts are with competitor, and you have been told that you have to be hunting in those must have account to make them customers of ours, right? And I agree that's one of the most challenging thing, because if some customer is already using your competitor product, and how you can really maneuver in that whole process to get yourself also established in that customer environment. So I think two things which I have been trying to do in this scenario is that one, we should have a view, and I'm talking more around B2B type of scenario, that you should have a view that by when the contracts, the existing contracts which are there will come up for renewal, right? Because that's the time when the customer is going to take a decision, right? Selling in between probably will, if there is altogether a new project, then it's a different thing. But if there is something which is already existing, there would normally what customers would do that they would renew and also add up or do incremental addition to that that product based on how they're growing in the market, right? So typically those things happen. So when you have a view that when those contracts are due for renewal, what you could do that you need to really do your homework, say 6 months before that, or maybe 1 year before that, based on in what industry you are. And uh, one, start building your trust with the customer. And the second thing is also, which I think becomes very important, that what are the ecosystem of different partners or different vendors who work in that particular account, to get a view. Because uh, many times it may happen that your product which is there may not be working in isolation. It may be integrating with different other solutions which could be there. So that could also give you a perspective. And that's where I think Ram is great in networking, and that as an skill really come into picture, that how you can network with other vendors who work in that particular account, and you build relationship, what they are doing, or what type of customer problems are there, what pain points which normally customer is facing, and try to validate that back with customer in terms of to ask right questions, and then create that validation in your mind that yes, what this partner or vendor was saying is something which probably is getting validated, that customer also is seeing that pain point. Because many times customer may not open up, and building that trust is not a one day job. You have to invest time and effort there, right? So based on all this collective information, you have to maneuver yourself to identify a certain pain point which will come up, it needs a little bit of digging in terms of to really explain them that what you could do, how you can help. And again, as I said, the success stories within that industry, in your competitor segment, maybe in that region, maybe in some other region which comes up, or some big logos which you have really been able to capture, or that USP which you can bring after understanding the pain point, how you can really explain that part, right? I think that becomes key. And with that, I think customer would always like to see that how then that product is working. So you have to be prepared in terms of that how you can really narrow that particular use case to a level where you can say that okay, I can give you product for say trial purposes for 30 days, 60 days, or whatever time you could do. Or if it required to be a say a much bigger POC where there is an effort which is required, then probably try to negotiate with your customer in terms of that what would be the outcome of the, if we meet all the parameters which you are defining to deliver the POC, then what would be the outcome of the POC? Would it would lead to some monetization in terms of to get certain amount of the project which you can deliver, and in that way you can basically see that how this could help you, right? And that's I think could help. Meanwhile, you can make sure that from the customer side you are uh, maybe inviting them into some industry talks, or making them part of some uh, panel discussions where they meet some of your customers who are there, and understand from them directly that what you have been doing, so that it helps to build trust in their mind that yes, it's just not me in isolation. There are 10 more customers who work with them, and they have a good product. And probably it would allow me to reduce my risk by not putting everything in one basket of product. So that's also something you can look upon. So these could be, I think, different ways in which probably it can help you to really get into a competition account.
Thank you, Devesh, for the sharing that inputs on how do I step in into product. Already the competitor is having it and doing it. So I know you covered a lot more onto your book on build your sales muscle. Maybe you can say a few words. What is that they would gain going through this book to
Yeah.
our viewers?
So definitely, I think build your sales muscle. I am also showing this book.
Yes.
So this is what you can say a summary of my own experience, which is there. What I have learned in last 23, 24 years while I have been into selling. How, as an introvert guy, how I was able to transform myself in terms of to really understand that how I can become a better seller, right? And then it talks about that what are the processes which typically a hunter or a farmer should follow while they are engaging with their customer. It also talks around from a sales leadership point of view that when you become a sales leader, how you need to engage with your team and what it requires for you to really focus on those key sales elements which needs to be which are non-negotiable while you're working in with your team. And in the last, it also throws light around alliances, partnership, how you need to develop a sales culture where there is always a curiosity of learning new things. Salespeople are more willing to uh, be innovative and trying new things in terms of to close sales. So that's how this whole book has been designed, and every chapter has certain questions in the end, and it they are all reflective questions in terms of that how you are working and what are those key things which you should actually reflect upon so that you can see that how you can become better in this technique of selling. So that's about the book. I'm sure you will find it very easy to read, and you can also think it like a workbook, that if you as you reflect back and respond to those questions, you will find that okay, probably it will help you to navigate to deliver your own sales methodology in terms of which can make you successful. And the book is available on Amazon. Please feel free to buy it, and in case you need to connect with me, my email ID is there on the in the book, and I will be more than happy to discuss and talk more about how you can become a better salesperson.
Thank you, Devesh, for sharing it. And this is his book. You all can buy and read it, and also connect with him to get more insight on how you can build your sales muscle. So thank you, Devesh, for that. And before we close, little bit about the leadership card. What is that we have done till date? Our journey. We delivered more than 200 plus experiential workshops and 15 plus consulting assignment. And this is that created a strong community. The 7 books from among the authors we have published, 1,500 plus quotes, and this every week will keep increasing, and 150 plus articles and 1,000 plus videos and 250 plus leadership talk and podcast, which we have done. And we are proud to say impacted 10,000 plus individual till date. We are on the journey to make impact to 1 million leaders and entrepreneurs. These are some select clientele list whom we have worked with on various assignments, either it is the experiential workshop, consulting, training, and kind of a thing. So unlock your hidden potential and look forward to a lot of great announcements to come in the new year 2024, and we are working towards that. Some of the thing is, how do you understand yourself through personality assessments, what success mindset, some of the self-discovery tools, and leading self-leadership framework, goal setting, priority management, how to build resilience, and understanding the team. This is another important thing: conflict management, team dynamics, effective negotiation, and business etiquettes, understanding the organization culture, change management, gender diversity and inclusion, problem solving, and decision making. And all these courses are going to be a self-paced learning. There also we made it very simple to the people. When if someone wants to just go through understanding self, you can just buy that level 1 of the thing as the thing, and level 2 is leading self, team, and organization. And you need continuous support. We have an annual membership as well, wherein we have a annual monthly group session with different topics and other thing, and we will come back and announce all the detail starting sometime end of December to middle of January. Then you can start working with us on this thing. Apart from that, at level 4, you need on a one-to-one level of coaching or mentoring that is also available with us. And these are some of the glimpses of various experiential workshops we conducted: in-person, hybrid, online, all kind of forms which we have. We can do that programs. And thank you very much for being here today on this Q&A session and asking your question. And don't worry if you are not online, on live, able to ask the question. And you can watch this on the YouTube and put your question. And if you are already part of the leadership community, you can ask your questions in our community. We come back and answer your questions with our cumulative 100+ years of experience. We worked in diverse field. India and global experience is what we bring in. Knowledge, apply, reflect, and develop is the KARD philosophy. Leadership training, leadership coaching, and mentoring is what we provide to help people unlock their hidden potential. For more information, you can write to us on the email or contact on the mobile number provided here. Once again, thank you very much for being here. With this, we will close